A company is running a project that is scheduled to take 30 days. The project has been running for 20 days, and the project manager has collected the displayed data for the status of the project. The project manager has asked for the basic cost of work scheduled, the basic cost of work performed, and the actual cost of work performed, the cost variance, the schedule variance, whether the project is ahead or behind schedule, whether the project is over or under budget, and the time variance. In this question, we're given a whole lot of project data, and based on this project data, we've been asked to find out the basic cost of work scheduled, the basic cost of work performed, the actual cost of work performed, the cost variance, the schedule variance, and to tell whether the project is ahead or behind of schedule, and whether it's over or under budget, and finally, what the time variance is. So, to start off with, we're going to work out the actual cost of work performed. Now this one's pretty easy, because if we look at our data, we've been given the actual cost that's been spent to date for each activity. Currently we're on day 20, so we've spent in 20 days this much money. So it's fairly easy. All we need to do is to add up this column. And we get $40,000. Now, we next have to work out our basic cost of work performed. So how much should we have spent to get this much work done? This is how much we've actually done. So based on the plan, how much should we have spent to get that much work done? And we need to work out our basic cost of work scheduled. So if today is day 20, how much money should we have spent if we had have stuck to the plan? We will use this column for the basic cost of work scheduled, and we'll use this column for the basic cost of work performed. So to work out the basic cost of work scheduled, we need to compare today's date with the start and finish for each activity. So for example, for activity A, it starts at time 0, which is before 20, and it finishes at time 10, which is also before 20. That means that at time 20, we should have done everything on this activity. So we said we were going to spend $6,000, so our basic cost of work scheduled for day 20 is $6,000. Similarly, for activity B, 8 is less than 20, so the whole plan cost becomes our basic cost of work scheduled, $8,000. Activity C, once again, 16 is less than 20, so the whole activity should be finished. So we should have spent $8,000. Activity D, on the other hand, 20 is less than 24, but it's more than 8. So we have to apportion how much of this much money should we have spent in this time. So what we've got is we have 20 minus 8 divided by 24 minus 8 times the cost of this activity was $7,000. Which is equal to $5,250. So this number here is what we put in this box here. For activity E, day 20 is when the activity finishes. It's now day 20, so this activity should also be finished. For activity F, we've got 16 and 24. day 20 is exactly halfway because we've got 4 days before between 16 and 20. We've got 4 days after. We could do this formula again. However, it's pretty straightforward this time. It's going to be half because we know it's halfway of the $6,000, which gives us $3,000. For activity G, today is day 20. This is when this activity is supposed to start. So we haven't actually done any work, or we're not supposed to have done any work on activity G. Yes, we have actually done some work on it, but the plan says none. Similarly, for activity H and I, their start dates are in the future compared to today. So the plan is that by now we won't have spent any money on either of them. So now we can add this column up, and that gives us our basic cost of work scheduled, which in this case is $40,250. Now we would like to work out our basic cost of work performed. This one's a bit easier than the last step. We look at how much of each activity has been finished and how much we said we would spend on each activity. So we said we would spend $6,000 on activity A, and it's finished. So therefore, we're expecting our value for the work that we've done is $6,000 because it's 100% times the 6,000. Similarly for this one, we said we're going to spend $8,000. The activity's finished, so therefore the work that we've done is $8,000 worth of work. Now for activity C, it's a bit more complicated. We've only done 3/4 of the activity. So therefore, our basic cost of work that we've done is the $8,000 we'll get paid if we had finished the whole activity times 75% because we've done 3/4 of it. So that will give us $6,000. Similarly, for activity D, we're supposed to get $7,000 if it's finished, but we've only done 90% of the activity, so we'll get $6,300 is the basic cost of work performed for that. For activity E, we've done 40% of the activity. The activity is supposed to be worth $10,000, so the basic cost of work performed for this activity is $4,000. For activity F, we've finished half of the activity. It's supposed to cost $6,000, so the half of $6,000 is $3,000. For activity G, we've done 25% and it's supposed to be worth $10,000. So therefore, it's worth $2,500. Activity H and I, we haven't started yet. So the basic cost of work performed, well, we've done no work, so it's $0. Now, to find out the basic cost of work performed for the whole project, we add up this column and we get $35,800.